Have you ever wondered if the secret to living to 100 is hiding right there in your kitchen pantry? Well, today we're diving into the diet of longevity. We're going to unpack the science and some incredible real-world examples that suggest, yeah, you might just be able to eat your way to a longer, healthier life.
So let's just start with this big question. What if hitting that 100-year milestone wasn't just about winning some kind of genetic lottery? What if it had more to do with what's on your dinner plate day after day?
You know, it might sound like science fiction, but on a small island in Japan, they seem to have cracked the code. For generations, people there have been living these exceptionally long lives, and the secret, well, it seems to be right at the heart of their diet. So let's see what they're eating.
All right, so our first stop is the island of Okinawa, which is home to some of the longest living people on the entire planet. We're going to unpack the traditional diet that has fueled their incredible longevity.
The traditional Okinawan diet it's really a fascinating blueprint for health. It's naturally low in calories and fat, but it's surprisingly high in the right kind of carbohydrates. The whole foundation is really simple. It's mostly vegetables and soy. Almost everything else is just a rare treat.
And this is where it gets really interesting. You'd think rice would be the main staple, right? I mean, it's Japan. But nope. For traditional Okinawans, their #1 source of calories was actually the sweet potato. These purple and orange powerhouses are just packed with antioxidants and slow-burning carbs. That, combined with tons of veggies, soy, and just the occasional tiny bit of fish or pork, well, that built the foundation of their amazing health.
And just look at these numbers. A staggering 85% of their calories came from carbs. That's almost unheard of today. Only 9% from protein and a tiny 6% from fat. I mean, this completely flips a lot of modern low-carb dietary advice on its head.
Okay, so the Okinawa story is really compelling. But I know what you might be thinking. Is it just a fluke, a one-off? Well, it turns out it's not. Let's zoom out and look at a global phenomenon that researchers have named the blue zones.
Because what researchers discovered is that Okinawa isn't some weird outlier. They found these other incredible pockets of health and longevity scattered all across the globe, almost like these hidden hotspots of long life. And these areas are called blue zones. They're places where people don't just live past 100 at incredible rates, they do it with way fewer chronic diseases. From the mountains of Sardinia in Italy to a community in Loma Linda, California, they all share some really interesting common threads.
So, when researchers dug into over 150 different dietary surveys from these blue zones, a really clear pattern, almost like a rule book, started to emerge. The foundation is overwhelmingly plant-based. Meat and fish, they're treated more like a garnish, not the main event. Legumes, nuts, and whole grains are daily essentials, while added sugar is, well, it's practically a foreign concept.
If there is one number, just one, that you remember from all this, let it be this one, 90%. In every single one of these long-lived communities, at least 90% of their food comes from plants. That is the single most powerful unifying thread connecting them all.
Okay, so the answer is just go plant-based, right? Easy enough. Well, hold on. It's actually a little more complicated than that. And recent science reveals this crucial paradox that we really need to understand.
And this is such a key question. I mean, think about it. French fries, soda, and super-processed white bread. They're all technically plant-based. So can you live on that stuff and expect the same benefits? As you can probably guess, the research gives a very definitive no.
So, to get to the bottom of this, scientists developed these two indexes. First, you've got the Healthful Plant-Based Diet Index, the HPDI, which gives you points for whole foods. But then there's its evil twin, the Unhealthful Index, the UPDI, which scores all that processed junk like refined grains and sugary drinks.
A huge meta-analysis in the journal Frontiers in Nutrition really just nailed it with this quote. It's not just that you're eating plants, it's which plants you're eating. The quality is every bit as important as the quantity.
And this chart, wow, it shows you exactly what that means in the real world. A healthful plant-based diet, that was linked to a 14% lower risk of death from any cause. But following an unhealthful one, full of all those processed foods, your risk goes up by 20%. That's a massive 34-point swing, all depending on your food choices.
Okay, I get it. This might feel a little overwhelming. So let's forget about the indexes and the studies for a second and just boil it all down to a simple, actionable toolkit. We're talking just 3 powerful food groups that science consistently says can help you live a longer life.
The good news is you don't need to move to a remote island to do this.
You can start building your very own blue zone right in your kitchen, just by focusing on these 3 powerhouse categories.
Okay, toolkit item number 1, whole grains. I'm talking about real oats, barley, and 100% whole wheat bread. They're packed with fiber that feeds all the good bacteria in your gut, which is crucial for, well, everything. And studies consistently link them to a lower risk of death from heart disease.
Next up, tool number 2 in your kit, nuts. Walnuts, almonds, pistachios, take your pick. These are like nature's perfect little nutritional packets. They deliver healthy, anti-inflammatory fats, crucial minerals like magnesium, and a great dose of plant protein all in one handful.
And if you're not convinced yet, check this out. A huge analysis found that just 1 handful of nuts a day is linked to a 20 to 30% lower risk of dying from any cause. That's an incredibly powerful daily habit for such a small change.
And finally, the foundation for everything else: fresh fruits and vegetables. The guideline here couldn't be simpler. Just fill half your plate with a rainbow of different colors. And those colors aren't just for show. They represent different vitamins and antioxidants that fight cell damage and do everything from keeping your brain sharp to lowering your overall risk of mortality.
So, the takeaway here is really clear. Whether you're looking at Okinawan centenarians or the latest nutritional science, the path points in the exact same direction. A diet centered on whole plant foods is one of the most powerful tools we have for a longer, healthier life. So, I guess the only question left is, what's one small change you'll make today for a longer tomorrow? Thanks for tuning in.